Hello everyone, Alzion the Great here, and welcome back to the Texas Rangers franchise on MLB 22, where last episode we did the MLB draft and drafted Jarret Cortez out of Venezuela, as well as Jeremy McCauley, Armando Delgado, and the rest of the draft picks. What we're going to try and do today is get to the All-Star game, and potentially end this season very quickly, but we'll see how far we get. I don't entirely anticipate, ending the season, but I would like to at least get to the All-Star break and maybe a little bit past it as we start simming here just to get through the month as Matt Carpenter and Adolis Garcia, who sustained minor injuries at the end of the last episode, come off of the injured list. Corey Seager then sprains his MCL, but nothing really important happened in that week and a half as we just continue on our way through the month of July now, as we're about a couple weeks out from the All-Star break, as Nick Tropiano is back from his injury, and he's actually doing really, really well. Just wanted to show him off there for a moment, as we're just simming through. Kind of annoyed with all these injuries that I kept seeing, but regardless, we get to the All-Star break as Brett Martin comes off the injured list. We have nobody in the home run derby. I don't like to participate in it anyway. And for the All-Star game, we have arrived as we get all the way in here, being held obviously in Dodger Stadium. Here are the All-Stars, as we didn't have any pitching All-Stars, but I wasn't expecting to. Our pitching staff isn't exactly the best. And as we go through all the All-Star starters, Marcus Semien did end up becoming an All-Star, having an okay year. I don't know why he's a starter. And also, I missed it when I was actually going through. Corey Seager, as you saw there for about a split second, he is actually our second All-Star. So we do have two All-Stars. It is the two guys we expected to be All-Stars, Semien and Seager. But didn't play the All-Star game. I do not like to play the All-Star game. But more importantly, a couple days after, about 3 days after the All-Star break, Nathaniel Lau comes off of the injured list, and obviously Nathaniel Lau was, one of our better hitters, hitting over 300 to start the season. And it was good to see him come off of injury. And what I did was I actually made a little bit of a mistake, is that you saw right there, I swapped out Nathaniel Lau for I put him back in and put him in at first base there, but I actually just kept him in and just put him in the lineup for the DH lineup, and it actually put him at third base where he has no experience playing. But we will get to that in a few minutes. But the trade deadline was very, very close, and obviously I declined a trade offer for the Mariners. But the Brewers came around and they wanted to give us this second base prospect named Tyler Black, and also Garrett Mitchell in center field for Mitch Garver. Now, Mitch Garver was somebody I was definitely planning on trading this season. I didn't really have much interest in keeping him beyond, this year. Not only, did we have Jonah Heim, but Yohel Pozo was also, there, and I obviously am very high on him. So I felt like a Mitch Garver trade would make the most sense, even though he just signed in Texas. Jonah Heim right now, at the time, was actually hitting 300, and Yohel Pozo was on a hot streak, hitting near 270. I thought, hey, I think we could pull the trigger on this, definitely call up Yohel Pozo, but I didn't want the center fielder that the Brewers were offering, because I'm very bad with names, I've already forgotten it. But regardless, the actual only center fielder I was interested in was Jason Dominguez of the Yankees. Now, obviously, it's a high-profile trade, but I don't think the Yankees would exactly mind, getting Mitch Garver. But the only reason I couldn't make the trade was because of budgetary constraints. The Yankees actually could not take his contract, so we went back to the Brewers. Tyler Black looked like an interesting, prospect, a stereotypical second baseman for sure, but I felt like he would have been a pretty good prospect to hold, or to get, I should say. As Semien would get older, we don't have a guy higher than be potential. If we do, they're very low overall. So he'd basically become our number one second base guy in the minor leagues. and I was looking for a second player to do the trade with, and I ended up going to relief pitcher because relief pitcher is notoriously hard to get, and honestly, I wasn't even looking for a guy with really high potential. I just wanted a lefty. So I started looking through. I found this 22-year-old guy named Antoine Kelly, so I added him to the trade, and they were very interested. But as I went to see if I can get more, I accidentally clicked on Aaron Ashby, and not only is he a lefty, but he's also doing really good and has B potential at 23 years old. I thought this would be a perfect trade for us to make. Sure, kind of unrealistic, but it's not egregiously unrealistic. So I decided to make this trade for Tyler Black and Aaron Ashby. Mitch Garver will head to the Brewers as they do accept that deal. And now we have traded away Mitch Garver and Aaron Ashby. Although he was doing pretty good in in the majors, I decided to send him down to AAA. I don't think now is the right time for him to be, up in the majors as it would be. But Tyler Black is going to be in AA. We actually had to free up a spot on our 40-man roster to add Yohel Pozo, so I just got Ryan Doro off the 40-man. But I was just looking to see who else I could take off, but I decided not to take anyone off there. We add Yohel Pozo, and he is now in the majors. David Garcia will take a spot in AAA, and Jordan there will Jordan Proshen, I think he will take his spot in AA. After that, I actually went on to the contract extensions menu because I wanted to actually offer some players to contracts to players that I knew weren't going to be leaving, or at least I did not want to leave anytime soon. I do like Nick Solak. I've seen him, used a lot. He's a really good utility guy with good speed and contact, so I decided to extend that to him. Also wanted to keep Jonah Heim. This is something I actually have started doing recently with catchers, is getting two young catchers up and then just signing them to the same kind of deal, as we also extended Leody Taveras. But yeah, getting roughly the same amount of time frame as the catcher and just see which one takes off first, because I do not mind at all platooning catchers. And I also wanted to get into a game with the Angels and have Yohel Pozo, even though he was a righty, starting against Shohei Ohtani. Shohei was starting for the Angels, even though Heim is going to generally start versus righties and Pozo is going to start versus lefties. I wanted to see Pozo because it was technically his first, at-bat of the season. And as we join this, the Angels are about to sweep us if we cannot win this game. And with Shohei on the mound having an exceptional year by pitching standards, by his pitching standards, I should say, for franchise, he's actually not usually that good of a pitcher. Wanted to get this win here today. Also, I put quick counts on just so, make the game go a little quicker, as Nathaniel Lau takes a walk to start off the game against Ohtani. This brings up Charlie Culberson, who is now kind of who took over at first base while Lau was away, and Culberson was originally supposed to play third, but as I said, I screwed up the lineup, and you'll see the result of that later as Shohei strikes him out. Then Corey Seager comes up, he draws a 1-1 count, and hits a very hard ball into right field, but it was caught, and there was no chance to make a play there. Then Marcus Semien in the first inning, he also draws a 1-1 count, and Shohei's pitch to him would be swung on a miss from that slider. Semien, he's not really in contention for a Silver Slugger, but I think if he raises his average, 20 points, he could definitely contend for that Silver Slugger like he won last year as he strikes out on a check swing there. Props to Shohei on that pitch, just a good pitch. But on to the bottom of the first inning, our pitcher Martin Perez not having nearly as good of a season as he did to start before I had to restart it, and even then, this is still worse. And here's where I noticed something was off, as Eli White came in at third. I didn't realize until after I was done recording, and even recorded another episode, that that Lau can't play third. So that happens twice, as now First play is made out there by Leody Taveras, as Matt Duffy now on with a 1-2 count, as he also flies out to Leody Taveras, keeping busy to start the game. As Martin Perez so far having a pretty good inning, but when you run into Mike Trout, especially an MVP candidate so far this season as he is, 290. I mean, he's just having another great year. Although I guess his average is about 20 points lower than you'd expect it generally to be. But regardless, it's still Trout, and you still got to get him out, as he takes a strike up, and then he takes the ball, skip that pitch, as 3-2 to Trout. He checks his swing. Home plate umpire says he went, and that would be the end of the first inning. So a good job by Martin Perez to match Shohei Ohtani. As we'd skip to the top of the third, Adolis Garcia is up to that, not having the year I would ideally want him to. Needs his average to get up a lot, but he is hitting the home runs I want him to. But other than the average, that's it, as he swings through a four-seamer there. He's definitely having a down year, but we'll see if, maybe next year he can continue, or maybe he can try and improve on the season. But yeah, he takes ball 2 there, now 2-2 count against Shohei, as he pitches there, and then he hits an absolute super speed ball out to right field for a quick home run, as Adolis Garcia hits his 17th of the season. What he's not having an average, he's making up for with power, which I'm learning to accept now as a franchise player, that sometimes you can accept lower average when you have higher power. But he definitely needs to move up in the lineup if he's going to hit like that. But ended up doing that. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning now. It's still 1-0. Pitchers duel pretty much, as Justin Upton hitting 177 on the season right now. But that might help, as he crushes a no-doubt home run. It just absolutely got out of here very, very fast, as he hits his 5th of the season. As now it is tied once again. Justin Upton, one of the few players I actually recognize, back when I first started the game, is I knew who Justin Upton was. And good to see him still playing, at least so far in this series. You can't throw that pitch there, and you can't, you just can't do that against Justin Upton or any hitter, really. As 4.5 seconds of hang time, 390, almost 400 feet. As we now go to the bottom of the 9th, this was literally a pitcher's duel. There was nothing going on, not even many hits. As now Jared Walsh against Brett Martin here in the bottom of the 9th. Angels looking for a walk-off here, as Walsh 0-for-2 on the day. He'll draw a walk there. That will bring up Jorge Polanco, who is also 0-for-3. He gets a 1-1 count. He bunts, and it's a good one, a good push bunt. Makes the second baseman make a play, as that would be out number 1. And that brings up Justin Upton. He's already hit a home run today. Can he hit another one, or at least get a double here to try and walk off for the Angels? Gets to a 2-2 count here. Then he grounds to first base. Good play there by Culberson, as he steps on the bag. That prevents the run from scoring. So it's runner on third. Now Michael Stefanik, 0-for-2. He walked in the 7th. Gets a 1-2 count here. And he goes up swinging, and he hits a ball high and deep, but not deep enough, as Leody camps under it to catch it and take us to extra innings in this game that we were watching today. Is now Leody Taveras is on second with Yohel Pozo up to bat, and he hits it up the middle, almost gets through, but it was a good stop by the pitcher Jaime Barria, as now Nick Solak comes up with a 1-2 count, and he hits it up the middle, but with Leody Taveras' speed, even with the infield in, that's good enough, as the Rangers take a 2-1 lead in the top of the 10th. And this sets up Joe Barlow, who's not having a great season. His ERA is near 5. He's blown 7 saves already. But the pitching staff just as a whole needs a complete rework. It doesn't really matter where you look. There's not really a good pitcher going on right now. But Stefanik on second, Tyler Wade at bat. With one out, he strikes out as Joe Barlow looks to get the save here. But we go back to the top of the order. David Fletcher on a 3-2 count with 2 outs, swings at a ball, and the ball will go out of the yard. It is a home run. The Angels win on a walk-off home run, because of course they do. As, once again, a blown save there by Joe Barlow. But I don't really think it matters in the grand scheme of things. If I could talk, please. I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things. I think everyone kind of accepts now that, yeah, we're not that good. We're heading towards probably another number 3 pick. As after that game, we simmed through. Once again, I was really confused as to why there was no injury at the time, obviously, to Lau, but he doesn't play third, so that's why he got subbed out there. As we make a couple moves. First off, calling Jack Leiter up to AAA. He's crushed AA, so he gets called up there. As that does really help. Just going through the entirety of the roster here, just seeing where everyone goes. Also wanted to get Tyler Black, up, actually playing, as A-Ball doesn't play. Put him in AAA for now. Josh Young, still considering calling him up, though not entirely certain if I will this season. As you move down, Ornelas from Class A. And, just making some minor league adjustments, basically. Nothing of major important value, besides, obviously, the Leiter call-up to AAA. Went to the lineup, didn't see that Nathaniel Lau was still at third base. But regardless, that would be the end of the episode. So I would like to thank you all for watching. My name is Elson the Great, and I will see you all next time.